This channel is for educational purposes only. Make sure you do your own due diligence before making any investments. And there is inherent risk in trading, so it's speculative. Just make sure you keep that in mind. Hi, this is Rabil with Invest Like a Pro. I wanted to step back today and talk a little bit about what it takes to be successful as a trader or an investor. And I got a specific question from someone asking, what holds traders back? And so I want to give the three things that I think are the most important. When I start working with someone specifically, I have some things in mind if I'm going to coach them or mentor them that I think they need to get to this place. It's again following these three things, which I'm going to go through in the next few minutes. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to start with what I think is the most important in terms of what holds traders back. And I think number one is not having a plan. And now I know, you've probably seen some of these videos before. I'm going to add a few different things to each one of these elements that I think, I think it's worth sticking around and listening to. And by the way, if you like the content, please hit that like button, and I appreciate that. So when I talk about not having a plan, I mean, the first thing I do when I start working with an individual and trying to mentor them or coach them is I send them a set of questions, and they need to answer those questions. And most of the time they can't answer them the first time. We have to go through a few sessions and they can get a better idea of how to go back and answer these questions. But essentially what we're trying to do is create a plan. And so, I mean, a number of things that we want to cover when it comes to this is knowing how much you're going to invest in each investment. So like the position sizing, it's got to be a part of the plan. It's got to be something that's written down. If you think you're just going to throw money at the market and not have any plan behind it, you're going to have a really hard time, a very, very difficult time making money, in the long run. Another question that you need to ask yourself is what stocks or markets that you're going to be buying or focusing in on. So it would be related to like market cap and the price limits, as well as some type of a trading volume cap or minimum, I should say. And then, what strategy you're going to use. If you look at my book, Invest Like a Pro, and then you look at the videos, I really focus in on two different strategies. One is the breakout strategy, and the second is the pullback strategy. And I think what most people believe is that these breakout and pullback strategies, that is the plan. But it's really only a small part of the plan. That's really just your, what stocks you're going to buy and which ones are and what the trigger is. That's really what I focus on there. When it comes to having a plan, you need to have a little bit more in relation to, and let's just look at a stock here. You need to incorporate in, I like to incorporate momentum characteristics into my plan. I like to look for long sideways patterns that are breaking out. And again, this is all a part of the strategy. And then I use multiple time frames to help with the entry and the trigger. And so that is really a part of the strategy. Other parts of the strategy would be where I place my stop. And that would be different for a pullback strategy than it is for a breakout strategy. And again, you got to have all this in writing. And then, how am I going to trail a stop and how am I going to take profits? All of this needs to be incorporated into a plan. The other things that need to go into a plan are related to how many stocks in a specific sector are you willing to hold. These are the types of questions you really, I think, need help in understanding what to do, how to do it, what type of restrictions you need to put in place if you're going to be successful with this. If we go to step two here, or what I should say is number two, and what holds traders back, it has to do with patience. Because what you've done is you've created a plan in the first step. And when you get to step two, what I see more than anything, and actually what I experienced more than anything in my own trading, was I have a great plan in place And I knew it would be successful. All I had to do was wait for these stocks to show up. And, then I would put the positions on and I would put in the right amount of positions and, money just start flowing in. The problem is what ends up happening invariably, you have a couple of different strategies and you'll go a week, maybe 2 weeks, and there won't be anything that'll show up that'll meet your criteria. And what I have seen over and over and over again is people start to veer off from their plan and they start doing a different strategy. They want to buy a reversal strategy. It's not a part of their plan, but they want to go do some reversal strategy or some diversion strategy, even though it's really not in their overall plan. And that is what really, I think, probably the most important thing that holds traders back. Most people, if they've been in the market for a while, have some type of a written plan in place. If you haven't done that, then that's really the most important thing you need to do. The second thing, and while I will say is my book and my videos do help in creating, I think, a pretty good plan, overall plan, if you go through a lot of these videos. But the second thing, again, this patience is really, you have to sit back and wait for the patterns that you look for and the triggers that you look for to take place. And if they don't, you have to be okay with being in cash and not doing anything. And if you're not, you're going to have a real hard time being successful. So the last, and actually, let me just go through and let's just talk about this. So if let's just say this is Rambus, this stock has just broken out. I kind of missed the breakout. It's really not that far from a breakout entry. Not too bad if you wanted to do this trade, breaking out of a big base. But I would tell you that at this point, I'd probably be looking for a pullback, especially on the daily chart, the opposing trend trigger that we talk about. Now, if that's a part of your plan, that's what you need to do. You have to wait for that. And if this stock just keeps going without you, just continues to go to the upside, it's okay. You got to go find one that actually meets your criteria and, that you can actually put money down and be able to live with in confidence that you've gone back and looked at a plan that is successful and you're going to continue to follow it consistently. And my suggestion is to go and put 20 to 30 trades on with this specific plan, both breakouts and pullbacks, let's just say, and follow it for 20 to 30 trades for each and see how they do. And don't mess around with it. Use the same stop method, do all that. This is the only way to really be successful trading. So the third thing that I see is related to patience, but it has to do with the fact that now you have a plan in place. And let's say you have the discipline or you have the patience to wait for your setups. Now you have to have the discipline to put those trades on the moment they click in. If you've been sitting back and waiting, watching a stock and stalking a trade for the last month, and now today is the day and it shows a trigger, you have to put the trade on. You have to put it on in the size that you said you would based on the plan. And then you have to put your stops in place and you have to live with those stops. In a lot of ways, as Mark Douglas would say, is you have to let go of the trade. You have to say, you know what, I am going to take this trade and I'm going to follow my plan. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I'm going to go do 20 to 30 of these and I'm going to figure out if the plan that I have in place is going to be successful. And, you're probably not going to know that for sure after 20 to 30 trades, but you're going to have a very good idea of whether the stocks you're buying and the strategy you're using are putting you in a situation that is getting a market to move in your favor initially. Because a lot of times technical analysis is just a departure point for you. It's just trying to get you off on the right track so that you can manage the position. And sometimes you get lucky and you get a big run out of something. And other times, you're going to have to live with no matter what kind of plan you have, you're going to have some trades that are going to be losses and some trades that are going to be small wins. You're going to have small wins, small losses, and then the occasional big big win. And that's really going to make the difference over time. So I wanted to make sure I step back for a minute. I've been talking a lot about ADX and the 2 time frame patterns and all that, but I want to make sure you understand what it takes to be successful as an investor or a trader. All of this can be applied to being an investor in longer term time frames, or in if you want to be an ETF guy or a longer term person. You still have to have a plan. You have to have the discipline to follow that plan. And you also have to have the patience to wait for the specific criteria that you're looking for to take place. So I hope this was helpful. Again, hit that like button, and we'll talk to you soon.